Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. Sorry that it took me a little bit to get to some album reviews today. I've just been very busy trying to earn some money, so it's been a little bit of a tough situation I've been in for the second to last week of August. Just trying to earn some money the best way I can, and that's my blanket if you're wondering what this is. Just trying to smush it down a little. So, I'm here today for an album review for The World is a Beautiful Place and I Am No Longer Afraid to Die's new record, Dreams of Being Dust. So I'm going to discuss what I listened to for their new album, which is a long fucking title for a band. Kind of redundant and ridiculous that they made a title like this for a band. And I'll let you know my thoughts on The World is a Beautiful Place's new album and I Am No Longer Afraid to Die album, Dreams of Being Dust. So let's dive into this album review. Now it starts with Dim Sun, and off the bat, I think the track was really good. Very strong track. I mean, the band sounds really good. It's kind of weird stuff they do with their melodies, but the screaming potential sounds really good in this track. It's more melodic. Not melodic. There's some melodic singing, there's some screaming moments. There's a lot of experimentation with this band, but it works for how it sounds. So Dim Sun is a strong track, 5 out of 5. Si Soffre Pero Si Goza featuring Counterparts is a pretty safe song. It's not one of my favorites, but the screaming moments in it were the highlights. The overall singing potential was kind of a little underwhelming from the lead singer. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't the best that I've heard, so 4.75 out of 5. Still a pretty good song, but not my favorite track. It is a least favorite. Then we get to No Pilgrim, which is a strong track in its own way. Not the best, but does have some scream moments that I can enjoy from one of the backing vocalists. And overall, the singing potential from the lead singer sounds pretty solid. Like I said, I'm very new to this band, so you're going to have to remind me who the bandmates are, or I'll just go look into it if I have to, if need be. But overall, from what I listened to, No Pilgrim's going to get a 4.75 out of 5. Solid track, not the best song, but not the worst. So, yeah. So they're an indie rock band, so that kind of sums it up. They do a lot of emo stuff with their music, but overall, they're solid, I guess. I think they're a newer band. I'm not 100% sure on that, retrospect on that. But overall, yeah. The next track is Beware the Centrist. Is a pretty safe song. I think this track did very well. I'm sorry, I'm just looking into this band to see what I think of them. So they are a pretty big band, for sure. So there is a lot of band members that are singing. David Bello is the lead singer. Give me a second, I gotta pause the video. Sorry about the barking, guys. My dog was barking. She was barking at a neighbor that was passing by. She was just doing her job. So, basically, Beware the Centrist is a strong track in its own way. So I'd give it a 4.75 out of 5. Out. Okay. Sorry, my cat is like, there's a lot of things going around getting me sidetracked for a second, so I'm terribly sorry for that. Out Blee Eddie, I believe is how you pronounce it. I'm not sure. Eddie or Eddie or something like that. It's gonna fuck with me if I don't remember the song name. So please forgive me if I don't remember the song name. So It's a 4.75 out of 5 for this track. I think it's solid. David Bellows' singing was pretty solid. And Katie is another one that's the one of the vocalists, and there's some screaming moments from Josh Sear that are pretty solid. So yeah, I was just looking into this. So they have been a band since 2009. So they are a 14-year-old band. So they started in technically with their first album in 2013. But overall, I think from what I listened to for You Bleed Eddie, uh, solid track. Not the best song, not the worst track, but fairly solid. So 4.75 out of 5. Captagon is another solid one. I'd give it a 4.75 out of 5. I think the overall vocals from David Bellow, Katie, Vorik, and Josh Sears' backing vocals are solid. So yeah, 4.75 out of 5. Dissolving was probably my favorite track on the record, along with Dim Sun and two others. But overall, did fairly well for how it sounded, so it's a 5 out of 5. I enjoyed this track for how it sounded, and overall, they definitely have a weird kind of sound to their music, but they do it in a way to where it executes, in my opinion. So 5 out of 5 for Dissolving. It was a pretty nice song. Did have some good singing moments in the chorus where it shined, and execution-wise of the verses were pretty solid. Reject All and Submit is another 4.75 out of 5. I don't think this is one of my favorites, but it's a pretty good song. But it is a least favorite to kind of make the record's reception go down a little. So 4.75 out of 5. December 4th, 2024. I don't know why they titled it that song, but okay. Solid track. Not my favorite one, but not the worst. I think the screaming moments from Josh Sear and Katie's singing moments are pretty solid. But execution-wise, this track worked for David Bellows singing. So 4.75 out of 5. Auguries of Guilt is a really good song. I really enjoyed the second to last track on the record. So pretty strong stuff. The overall experimentation for the indie rock did very well with this track, so really enjoying it. 5 out of 5. And finally, For Those Who Will Outlive Us closes out the record in a pretty good way. It started off good, had a few bumps in the road, but still executed well at the end of the record, and a few songs executed pretty well. So 5 out of 5 goes to For Those Who Will Outlive Us. It is a 7-minute and 3-second track. Very long track, along with the last song being 5.5 minutes, or somewhere around that time frame. But overall, it works for the execution. It sounds really good. Very ominous of a track, but executes in a well-constructed way. So overall, production, mixing, and execution-wise, I think Dreams of Being Dust by The World is a Beautiful Place and I Am No Longer Afraid to Die. Yeah, the title is very fucking long for the band's name. I think this record was pretty good. I was really impressed. Granted, it's not going to be the best record of the year or album of the year, but it is going to be on my best albums. So, I personally dig this album for how it sounds. I mean, there's a lot of... It sounds like prog's indie rock kind of stuff, but they are a rock band. They do a lot of post-hardcore, post-rock, indie rock, emo stuff, so clearly they have a lot of emo, indie rock style to them, but they overall do the post-hardcore and post-rock with their overall genre specification with how it sounds. But it overall mixes very well. So if I were to give The World is a Beautiful Place and I Am No Longer Afraid to Die's new album, Dreams of Being Dust, a score, I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. Pretty good record. I mean, granted, the name of the band is kind of a little redundant. And it's like, wow, that is a long fucking name for a band. But overall, I think their music's pretty solid. I don't hate their music. I don't think they're the best band I would consider being one of my personal favorites, but they do have good material, for sure. So 8.5 out of 10 for The World is a Beautiful Place, and I Am No Longer Afraid to Die's new album, Dreams of Being Dust. A score of an 8.5 out of 10 is what I gave it. I hope you enjoyed this album review this late afternoon. I'm sorry that it took me a little bit to get around to this album review. I got a few more albums to review, but I should be done by tonight, hopefully. I don't know for sure, but I'll keep you posted on what I'm going to review next. The next album is going to be, I think it's going to be a Sierra album. But until then, you guys have a good rest of your late evening, going into late afternoon, going into early evening, and I'll catch you guys in my next review. Thanks for watching.